Let me ask you a quick question. If your tenant called you tomorrow and said, "Hey Richard, the water heater just failed. Oh, and by the way, the septic system backed up," would you be financially and emotionally ready to handle that immediately? Because here's the truth most people don't realize until it's too late. Turning your home into a rental isn't just a financial decision. It's a mindset shift, a legal shift, and an emotional shift. And if you get any of those wrong, it can cost you thousands of dollars, months of stress, or even force you to sell the property when you didn't plan to. Stay with us until the end to get all 6 questions you must ask yourself before turning your home into a rent-generating machine. Hi, I'm Richard Gibson, Director of Residential Property Management at WSR Property Management. My team and I work with landlords throughout Riverside, Orange, and San Bernardino counties to stay profitable, follow the law, and treat their tenants fairly. And one of the most common things we hear is this: I'm moving out of my home and I'm thinking about keeping it as a rental. Should I do that? Today, I'm going to walk you through 6 questions you must absolutely ask yourself before turning your home into a rental property, especially if you're what we call an accidental landlord. These aren't theory questions. These come directly from situations I deal with every single day. Let's jump in. Question number 1. Would I buy this property as a rental? The very first question you need to ask yourself is this: if I didn't already own this house, would I buy it as a rental property today? And I want you to really sit with that question, because your primary residence and a good rental property are often not the same thing. You may love the layout. You may love the neighborhood. You may have even raised your family there. But none of that matters from an investment standpoint. A rental property needs to make sense financially, functionally, and operationally. I've seen owners try to turn large, highly customized homes into rentals and then be shocked when the maintenance costs eat up most of the rent. Custom features break, high-end finishes wear out, and tenants, even good ones, do not treat a home the way an owner does. Give us a call, get an expert opinion. We can help evaluate if your home would be a good rental. We only get paid if rent is flowing. Question number 2, what will my net profit really be? This is where a lot of people get tripped up. They look at the rent and stop there. Let's say your home can rent for $3,000 per month. Now let's subtract mortgage, maybe $2,000. Property taxes, maybe $400. Insurance, maybe $150. Property management, maybe $240. That's a profit of over $200 every month. Excellent. But wait, what about saving up for when the AC breaks or the water heater fails? What about reserves for when the tenant eventually moves out? Are you making plans for that too? And here's the key thing most owners don't understand. There is no correlation between your expenses and what the market will pay in rent. The market does not care about your mortgage, doesn't care about your property tax bill, doesn't care about your HOA dues, or how much you would need to make. Rent is determined by supply, demand, and condition, not your costs. The owners who do well are those who plan ahead. They set aside funds every month, especially when the property is performing well, so they're prepared. When repairs come, vacancies happen, or tenants move out. Which brings me to something I'm dealing with right now. I'm currently managing a property where the first tenant just moved out. Overall, the tenant left the property in good shape, but it does need a little attention. Paint touch-ups, minor repairs. The owner thinks the tenant should be responsible for everything. The owner actually told me the other day that the rent barely covers the mortgage. Here's the problem. California law clearly states that landlords are responsible for normal wear and tear. Paint fades and gets scuffed up, carpet wears, fixtures age. This isn't damage, it's ownership. Paint is expected to last maybe about 2 to 3 years, carpet only about 8 years at best. Everything has a finite expected lifespan. Nothing lasts forever. And that wear and tear is the owner's responsibility. Unfortunately, this particular owner didn't financially prepare for move-out costs. They assumed rent and deposit would cover everything. And now decisions are delayed, repairs are slowed, and re-renting is way behind schedule, causing more costs because time truly is money. Vacant properties don't generate income, they generate expenses. If you're watching this and thinking, I have no idea what a property would actually rent for, or I'm not sure if keeping my home as a rental even makes sense, this is exactly what we help owners with WSR Property Management. My team and I provide free rental analysis and owner consultations for landlords throughout Riverside, Orange, and San Bernardino counties. We'll walk you through realistic rent expectations, true operating costs, legal considerations, and whether self-managing even makes sense for your situation. And don't worry, we will keep it real. I hate to admit it, but the real estate industry is rife with agents that will tell you whatever they think that you need to hear just to get the contract. Just the other day, we did some shopping of our competition, and they told us that the house that we were theoretically trying to rent out would rent for somewhere between $2,200 and $3,000. That is a big range. It'll never rent for that high. He is just saying what he thinks he needs to say to get the contract. But that's not how we work here at WSR. We work hand in hand with you to ensure you have a good experience as a landlord. Most of our landlord clients have been with us at least 5 years and many over 20 years. You can visit WSR.net to schedule a free consultation. Now, back to the list. Question number 3. Can I emotionally detach from this home? This one might be the most important question on this entire list. Can you emotionally detach from the property? Because the moment you rent it out, it is no longer your home. It is an asset. Tenants will hang pictures differently, use appliances differently, live differently than you did. That doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong. Once I had an owner come to me right after purchasing what they called their forever home, the home they planned to retire in. They weren't ready to move in yet, so they wanted to rent it out temporarily. And I politely turned them down. Not because it wasn't a nice home, it was beautiful. The home would have made a great rental, but the emotional attachment was way too strong. No tenant will ever take care of the property the way you would, ever. If you already feel anxious thinking about someone else living there, that's your answer. Sometimes the smartest move isn't holding the property, it's selling it and redeploying that equity into a rental that actually performs like an investment. If every scratch feels personal, if every maintenance call feels like an insult, this is going to be a very stressful experience for you. Landlords who succeed treat their properties professionally, not personally. If you can't make that mental shift, that's okay. It just means renting it out may not be the right move for you. Or it might be even more important that you have a full-time property manager to help create a buffer between you and the tenant. Question number 4, what are my long-term plans? Are you moving temporarily, planning to move back, or relocating permanently? If you plan to move back in a few years, renting might make sense, but you must plan carefully. If you're never coming back, you need to evaluate whether holding the property truly aligns with your long-term financial goals. I personally believe you should never sell real estate if you can avoid it. Real estate is how generational wealth is built. But here's the hard truth. Most people are not financially prepared for the periods when rent isn't coming in. And problems? They don't wait for convenient timing. Rental properties are wealth-building machines, but only if organized correctly. Question number 5, how far away will I be? Distance matters. If you're moving across the street, self-managing might feel manageable. If you're moving across the state or even out of state, it's a completely different story. Maintenance coordination, emergency response, vendor access, legal compliance. These things are much harder when you're not local. At WSR, we specialize in helping owners who are far away maintain profitability and peace of mind. Because problems don't stop just because you moved. We have property owners all over the country and around the world. Question number 6, what are the tax and maintenance realities? Let's talk about 2 things people often underestimate, taxes and systems. We have all heard the saying that in life, nothing is certain except death and taxes. Well, in the residential rental business, the only certainty is maintenance and taxes. Once you convert a primary residence into a rental, capital gains rules change, depreciation comes into play, and tax-free sale window is limited. Always consult a CPA before making this move. And finally, systems fail. I'm currently dealing with a failed septic system. The owner said, "We've been on septic for 70 years. The tenant must be doing something wrong." No. Septic systems fail, they require maintenance and eventual replacement. They don't last forever. If any part of that septic system is truly 70 years old, it is way past its expected lifespan. The same is true for HVAC systems, water heaters, garage door openers. Ownership means replacement, eventually. Turning your home into a rental can be a powerful wealth-building move, but only if it's done intentionally. Be sure to ask yourself these 6 questions with honesty and clarity before you decide. And if you want help evaluating your situation honestly without pressure, visit WSR.net and schedule a free rental analysis or owner consultation. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone considering becoming a landlord. I'm Richard Gibson with WSR Property Management. Smarter management, lower stress, better returns. WSR Property Management, you don't have to do it alone. Thanks for watching. See you next time.